Hey yogis, welcome back. In today's tutorial, we're going to be breaking down upward facing dog, including a lot of the mistakes that we often see people do in this pose.
Hopefully you checked out our previous videos where we covered downward facing dog, plank and chaturanga. If not, then head to those videos. We'll link at least one up here. Chaturanga at least, because that's usually how you get into upward facing dog. So usually the sequence is, as you know, downward dog, plank, chaturanga and then upward facing dog. So let's talk about this back bending pose. Let's actually just come into the pose. Start with plank and chaturanga and then come up to upward dog. Because that's the usual way how we get into it. And so when you come, you just do your plank, your chaturanga, and then before you come up to upward facing dog, you want to flip the feet so you untuck the toes. And you straighten the arms to press the ground away and come up for upward facing dog. What you want is to still press into your hands, just like in plank and chaturanga. You push the ground away, you grip the ground, you externally rotate the arms, and you pull the shoulders back and down. And then what we think is the most important thing is to engage your glutes to protect your back. At the same time, what you don't want to do is look up with your head, because can put a lot of strain on the backside of your neck. Instead, you want to look straight forward and then pull your entire head back. So now move your head more forward again. See the difference? And then pull the head back. This is what you want to do with your head. And then if this is too much for your lower back and you feel any pain here or discomfort, you can bring the legs wider apart. So we have been to very traditional schools where they force you to keep the legs together, but the more your legs are together, the less you can back bend. And the more you bring the legs apart, the more space you create for your sacrum, and the more you can come into a back bend, which is ultimately the function of this pose, to extend the spine, arch your spine, come into this back bend. And to come out of it, you use your core, you start to engage your core. Even now it's engaged in upward dog, but you engage it even more to lift your hips up and back, stretch out the tops of your feet, and then you come onto your toes again for downward facing dog. Good job, Bre.
Thanks.
So you can come down with the knees or sit down. So in upward dog, it's sometimes even more challenging than plank, because you're doing like a lot of things at the same time, just like in plank, but you're more in this back bend, and you only have the hands on the ground and the tops of your feet, so everything else is lifted. What we see a lot is that the thighs are on the ground, that the hips are on the ground, but then you're not pushing the ground away enough. You want to really lift everything, except the hands and the tops of the feet, and press into your hands, push the ground away. So this is a very active pose. Although you're arching your back, you still want to keep the core engaged as well.
In all of these poses, we're looking for the most efficient way to utilize the muscles, and usually that means bone stacking is necessary. So in an upward dog, it's good to have, I guess I need to move forward more. It's good to have your shoulders stacked over your elbows, over your wrists. So oftentimes we see this, where people are really far forward.
And the line is just not straight down.
Yeah.
Trying to explain.
Yeah.
While you are doing the pose.
I know, it's tough. So it's better to pull the shoulders back in order so that they stack over the elbows and over the wrists. And then to add on to the comment about tipping your head back or looking forward and just pulling your head back, in addition to that being a lot of compression on the back of your neck, it also starts to shrink that major muscle which runs from the base of your skull to the top of your sternum, and it also connects to your clavicle. So this major muscle is your sternocleidomastoid, And that muscle can actually start to shrink if you're tipping your head up constantly in an upward dog. So if you really want to be getting more of a stretch, and usually the reason people tip their head up is so that it visually looks like you're getting more of a back bend, but it's really not making that much of a difference. In fact, it's just making it worse on that neck muscle, and it's starting to shrink it by tipping your head up. So if you want to lengthen that muscle, which is the main muscle which allows you to turn your head, you really want some length in that. So instead of tipping the head up, that's why we pull the head back just slightly, as Flo explained earlier.
You gotta really ask yourself with everything, with all these poses, what's the function of this pose? Upward dog, we want to back bend, and we want to maybe stretch that muscle that Bre just explained. And so in order to do that more, just based on how the body moves and how it's designed, this is how you do it, if this is the function you want to achieve. And if upward facing dog is too much for you, for example for your back, for your arms, you don't have the strength to push yourself up, it really doesn't feel good in your back, maybe you have a history with injuries, then you can also come into cobra pose. And instead of from chaturanga coming up to upward dog, you just lower all the way down and do cobra instead. So maybe you show that real quick. So same as before, you do plank, shift forward, chaturanga, and then instead of coming up, you lower down and come into cobra. So you untuck your toes, still engage the glutes, you press into your hands as much as you can, you squeeze the shoulder blades together, you still pull the shoulders back, open the chest, the heart more forward, and then hold it here. And it gets actually quite challenging for the triceps, especially if you hold this for a long time, because the triceps are very close to the body. You almost feel it as at your rib cage, and so you use your triceps a lot. And same thing with the head. You don't want to arch the head back. You kind of look more down towards the ground or more forward, and then pull the head back instead. And then you release down, and then you can come to downward dog or maybe child's pose or so. So that's a good option to take if upward facing dog is not something for you. And we are really all about modifying your practice. In fact, it shows us that someone is more of an advanced student because they listen to their body, they have learned to listen to their body, and they do the things in a modified way that feels good for them, and they don't force their body into shapes and positions that don't feel good. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this is helpful for you. Try it out, see for yourself, experience for yourself. Let us know in the comments below what we should do videos like this, tutorial style, more of. And we're always happy to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching, and we see you soon. Namaste.
Namaste.